Look, more complaining about the Year 6 update. Firstly, slight apology, I am fresh out of Operation 1 of 2 to get my hip sorted, so that's why I've been absent for a few days. Yeah, nothing serious, it was all minor surgery, but just needed a few days to stop being a little girl about it. Anyway, the point of this video is to basically go over what they're actually announcing for Season 6. In the previous video I did, it was quite lengthy. I never really went over it, I just basically went over my thoughts and concerns, but the actual things of what they're delivering in, I keep saying Season 6, Year 6. Now annoyingly, this is only really summed up in like one paragraph where they actually don't give us much, if anything at all. And yes, I am fully aware that the actual patch, the full patch, isn't out yet at all, so what's the point in complaining about it? Well, 1, content, 2, voice my concerns, 3, due to the way I am, it's just going to be sat there rattling around like a friggin' rabbit on a roller coaster until I actually make a video about it, so here I am. Secondly, it's also trying to be like thought-provoking to get your guys' opinion on this. You see, the problem is the sentence realistically is just this. What will Season 2 consist of? There are 15 weeks of varied activities such as seasonal missions, seasonal projects, manhunt scouts, and priority objectives. These are to be completed with your seasonal character, followed by a 2-week intermission during which you can utilise your main character. Your non-seasonal character can be accessed anytime during the season, but with no access to seasonal content except for the 2-week intermission. That's like literally the only information they've given us on the actual content, effectively, of what is coming in Year 6. Seasonal missions. Am I being stupid here, or does that just read as the exact same missions we've been doing anyway, with a slight seasonal twist on it, which they've been doing throughout the manhunt anyway? Sometimes you only go halfway through, sometimes there's a different door open, sometimes you start at the end of the mission and work your way backwards. Like, seasonal missions, unless they're actually implementing new missions, is this not just a rehash of the same thing that we've been doing all along? Seasonal projects, don't get me wrong, especially since they've changed the projects, I am all for new projects. It makes it kind of easier to get particularly exotic components. It's not the only thing I'm actually excited about really when it comes to the project changes. It just makes exotic components easier to acquire just because expertise is a thing. But a project is still a project, right? Like, why do we care? Manhunt scouts, I'm not too sure what these would actually be. The only thing that I can honestly think of would be seasonal bounties, to be honest. And then same with like priority objectives. I kind of feel like this would be like the end of season mission, essentially, which is typically a bit longer, normally done within a stronghold, or it's going to be like one long area bounty, and there's a few interesting activities that are added into it. Something along the lines of, I'm not sure if anyone remembers, but the manhunt mission on Roosevelt Island with all those EMP pulse things going off. That thing was a nightmare. So, at least from my perspective, for new content and Year 6 of what's coming out, nothing. The only thing that would potentially be classified as new would be the simple fact of, in order to do any of the things that we've been doing for years now, is you have to start again. You're starting again for the sake of starting again, which to me is a huge negative. One, that's just not the way in which I like to play anyway. I've put hours, I've put time, I've put effort into getting the equipment and the builds and the gear I've got, my 15,000 SHD. Like, I've put time into this, and I'm now being told, yeah, don't worry about it, just start again so that you can progress the story. I don't see that as an incentive when I'm just doing the exact same things I've always been doing. Now, on the flip side to this, I am not one of these people that for my favourite game, I need new content every 2 or 3 months. I'm not like that. I still sit here with no updates in like 3 years playing Monster Hunter World because I love the game and I love to help people within that game. I'm not one of those of where I constantly need new content. But I do feel like if you're going to be adding these patches and adding this, essentially a full year 6 track, roadmap, whatever you want to call it, that content, in order to appease the masses, should be kind of a top priority. And I really do feel like they're not doing that. To me, the way in which this reads is literally saying, hey honey, fancy doing something different in the bedroom? Yeah, sure, no problem, darling. And then rather than buying strawberry lube, you buy cherry lube. You're still going to get bummed, just with a different flavour. Who cares? Now, the next stretch on this is quite simply, this very much does feel like they're trying to appease to a new audience, to try and get new people into the game, to make more money from the game. The problem here is the Year 6 announcement came off the back of Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. I'm aware there's a lot of complaints about that game at the moment. Personally, I don't see the point or any reason for the complaint. But still, like, really? You think Division 2 can compete with Elden Ring? Because that's what you're telling me. And then by the time Year 6 fully comes around and is out, isn't GTA 6 meant to be out? And it's like, you think Division 2 can compete with GTA 6? You think new players are going to be picking up Division 2 over Grand Theft Auto? Really? Really? Ideally, how this should be marketed is a way in which to keep the veteran players engaged, as well as keep the veteran players monetized. You could either do little things often with a small price tag, or you could do pretty big things sporadically with a larger gap, but obviously with a higher price tag. Now, one of the things that I feel like could really be pushed on this market, especially in the wake of, let's say, cultural politics at the moment, would be skins. And I really do mean this. I feel like if you got the right skin and then even gave it like a £50 price tag, people would pay for it. Now, right now, there is a plethora of people about to go crazy in my comments being like, £50 for a skin? Bro, that's not happening. I hate you. How would you suggest this? What if this was the skin? Make it £30 and then for another 20 you get jiggle physics. Alright. Now, I get it. Why has it always got to be a half-naked woman? Well, quite simply, marketing, because some thirsty boy's going to buy it. Okay, it's a shooter game. Easy, maybe 90, 95, possibly even higher of the player base is going to be straight men. I'm not saying women don't play games, I'm not saying gay people don't play games, but easily 90 to 95% of the player base is going to be straight men. Capitalize on that. Make that a skin. Add a £30 price tag to it. People are going to buy it. Add in a deluxe skin where it gets jiggle physics for 50 quid. People are going to buy it. I'm just saying, like, you put all of this effort into making this, writing this, developing this, and it's caused you a headache and a lot of backlash when you could have just gone, have tits, be happy. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying this would have been the answer to the entire problem and you would have received zero backlash. We're in a state of the world now where no matter what you do, someone's going to complain. It's just the way in which the world works. Everyone's got a voice when not everyone deserves to have one because YouTube. Haha. But considerably less people probably would have complained, and you probably would have made quite a bit of money. I also get the impression that making a skin wiggle is considerably easier than making full DLC. So my concern realistically here is you're putting an awful lot of effort into trying to get new players when, I mean, I'm not saying you're not going to get new players, but not sure if you know this, but I believe it was StarCraft. One of the DLCs, I think it might have even been like StarCraft 3. I'm aware there is no StarCraft 3, but that's kind of the point. But there was either a DLC for StarCraft 2 or StarCraft 3. It was cancelled, all because a £15 skin in World of Warcraft made more money than StarCraft 2. a £15 skin, which is when Blizzard decided to stop developing things like StarCraft, etc., and just put a ton of effort into making skins. Make skins. If you need more money for your game, Division, massive, skins. Make them good skins. And I'm afraid to say that when I say make good skins, I do mean ones that are going to be sadly appeasing to the male gaze, because that's just the way in which men work. I can 100% attest to this, being a man myself. If you put that skin on the market for, I'm not sure I could afford the 50 quid jiggle physics one, but the 31 with no jiggle physics, if it looked like that, yeah, I'm buying it. I don't think I know a guy that wouldn't. I don't think I know many players in game that wouldn't. Now, just because I know someone's going to complain, oh, you just use this video as an excuse to put tits in it. I mean, yeah, obviously. But this is a concept from one of the developers for Division 2 in China. This is what they get. Now, I am unsure as to whether these are skins that are unlocked or whether they're paid skins, but just get skins like this. Make skins like this and then put them as paid. This is all from Division 2 China. There's literally a Reddit forum that tracks what China gets versus what we get, and it's kind of sad to see the massive difference in overall quality, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, I'm kind of concerned as to where the rest of the world Division 2 team is going, simply just because they have this, or they seem to have this idea that whatever they put out, they're allowed to get away with. And to some extent, that is true, simply because there is no other game like this on the market. But at the same time, it's just sort of like you literally have peers that are doing the exact same game as you in a different country, admittedly under a different rule set. But from what I can tell, it's a vastly superior and more popular game. At least from the limited research I have done, as well as with the limited knowledge that I can find. And the only reason I can actually figure out as to why is because when they actually ask for feedback and they get feedback, they listen to it. And from what I can gather at the moment, no one wants your year 6. No one. Have fun, good luck, don't die. It's bad for the health.